A question I've been getting a lot lately: why do we care about endorsements? And should we care about endorsements? Hey everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. So over the last couple of days, while the race for Lubbock County Judge has, I guess, been winding down in this Republican primary runoff election, you've heard a lot of endorsement talk. You've heard a lot of people come out for and against certain candidates. You've heard the candidates tout different people in their endorsements. And one thing that I keep getting from some on the KFYO text line and via email and on Twitter is, why do we care? Why does it matter who endorses who? Does it really matter? The answer is yes and no. If you've probably already decided on a candidate, endorsements probably don't matter too much. They either reinforce how you feel about a candidate, or in some cases, they make you go, wait a minute, I'm not too sure I want to be lumped into that crowd. That's a danger of endorsements, by the way. When you get, when you get people endorsing one candidate, you kind of want to look at that crowd and go, do I want to be involved in that? Do I want to be involved in that crowd? Am I part of that crowd? Do I really want to run with them? It's something to consider when throwing endorsements out there, and both candidates, both sides, always have to deal with something like that. Endorsements, in my opinion, are mainly for the undecideds. And there are people who are undecided. There are people who listen every single day to my radio show who I receive text messages from who say, these are, in my opinion, these are two good candidates. These are, people who make sense. These are two people who make very good points at different times. I'm undecided in this thing. That's when endorsements really matter. That's when, you look around at the people who are endorsing a candidate. You look at who is endorsing them and you go, yeah, you know what? I think I align with them. I think I feel pretty good in voting for this person. Or you look at the people who are endorsing one of the candidates and go, I don't think so. I don't want to be involved in that crowd at all. I'm going to switch my vote to this other person. This is when endorsements really matter. When you have two candidates who are not terrible candidates, one of them isn't horrible. When you have something like that, that means people start looking at those who they're running with, those who associate themselves with the candidate and who the candidate associates themselves with. You look at Curtis Parrish. He's received endorsements from a local barber in town, Marie Stanley, good guy. He's received an endorsement from Matthew Harris, who I personally am not a fan of. He, helped lead that smoke-free Lubbock organization and wanted to, in my opinion, go after private property rights when it comes to wanting to ban smoking throughout Lubbock, Texas. He's also received the endorsements of a few other folks, including one of Lubbock's past mayors, David Miller. Now, David Miller wasn't the most popular guy in town. We remember that. Red light cameras, etc. You have endorsements for Gary Boren that have rolled in. Glenn Robertson, former Lubbock mayor, he endorsed Gary Boren. Glenn Robertson, I think he's kind of a controversial figure at times in Lubbock. Kent Hance has endorsed Gary Boren. I think two of the more interesting and maybe more big name or powerful people right now to endorse, Jason Corley and Chad C. They both had huge elections onto the county commissioner seats, big conservative guys, and they both endorsed Gary Boren in that race. So both candidates have people who have endorsed them. Does it matter to me? Not really. I've already made my decision who I'm going to vote for. And in fact, after I cut this video, I'm going to go out and vote. I've already made up my decision. And if you've made up your decision, go with your decision. But for those of you who are undecided, listen, you can go back. You have so many materials. Obviously, KFYO.com. We've got so many interviews with both candidates and the last debate that both candidates participated in that aired on KFYO. You can go back and watch those. And you also have these endorsements. Which crowd do you like better, basically? Which endorsers do you like better? Are you more in line with the people who have endorsed Gary Boren, or are you more in line with the people who have endorsed Curtis Parrish? It's a question that you have to think about and look at and go, which crowd do I identify more with? Which endorsers do I like the most? Who represents my values the most in those group of endorsers? You have to look at both of those and then decide for yourselves. And also, don't forget, beyond that, take into account the qualifications of the candidates. Do you think Gary Boren is qualified to handle the jobs and duties of Lubbock County Judge? On the flip side, do you think Curtis Parrish is qualified to handle all of the duties and job of Lubbock County Judge? Who do you think's the best qualified? That's really what matters in this race. And for conservatives, who do you think will help lead a conservative commissioner's court? That should also be important when you go out and vote. No matter what, become informed and then go and vote. I don't want you to go out and vote just because I say so. Be informed and then go out and vote. Remember, the most important things you can do when thinking about this race: who's qualified and who, in my opinion, can be a strong conservative and lead a strong commissioner's court. That is the person you need to select. Just a reminder, I will have Curtis Parrish on my radio show Friday morning at 9 a.m. He'll be joining us for what could be the final time. We'll see what happens. Election day is May 22nd. The final day of early voting is on Friday. So get out and vote after you become informed. Thanks for tuning in.